by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. You can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Bad self. Vibing, man. I'm vibing. With your bad self.
You said that for some reason. I didn't even hear it end. It just like bam. It just just bam, and there you are. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's always something new, Kelvin. Always something new on this thing. Hello and welcome to the O&G Strike Zone. I'm Brian Fulford. That's Kelvin Rozier. Joining us are we're without our third member of the crew, Kofi Hemingway, but only for a little bit. He'll be joining us very shortly. So to that, we wish him safe arrivals to his home studio. And Kelvin, I say good evening to you, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Wonderful opportunity to be with Rattler Nation, to be with my brothers again. Who we honored to have the great Roy Evans producing us today. So, it's going to be awesome, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a good day. It's a good day in Rattler Nation. We got a loaded show. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of good stuff, a lot of controversial stuff to get into. Joining us a little bit later in the show, we are excited to have on the Orange Blossom Classic Executive Director, Miss Kendra Bulluck-Majors. She will be joining us to give us some of the inside scoop on the 2022 Orange Blossom Classic. Tickets are on sale. OrangeBlossomClassic.com. Tickets are now on sale, so we'll get a chance to talk many things, past, present, and future of this classic. Also joining us in the show, primarily in the second hour, becoming a good friend of the program, I'd like to say, Miss Ty Floyd. She'll be coming in from she's a SWAC of the SWAC Digital Network, and we love having Ty on. Get a chance to really, I don't think anybody's had a chance to talk to her since the SWAC tournament, where she did an outstanding job almost on the fly. I was kind of reading the article or something that it was really on the fly. And you would have never known that was her first experience. So shout out to all the great training at FAMU Journalism School of Journalism and Broadcast for having Ty Floyd prepared for that opportunity. And she knocked it out of the ballpark, man. What a great job she did. A lot of funny moments, some tough questions, and some tough answers, but she handled it like a pro. You would have never known she was new to the game. And then also coming up, Coach KJ Black, former offensive coordinator, QB coach, now with the LA Rams. I got that right. I didn't call them where were they before? St. Louis or before St. Louis? They were somewhere, San Diego. Where were the Rams at? The Rams were, they've been in LA for a minute, haven't they? Before that, they were St. Louis for a minute.
Yeah, I remember they were St. Louis. Who knows, man? Nobody's a Rams fan.
I know. The Super Bowl champion LA Rams. I guess I have to add that part in front. They did win the Super Bowl, so I guess we have to when he comes on, we have to say of the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. So we get a chance to talk to him. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, hello, Mary 305 coming in already off the bat. We appreciate her, you, and everyone else on YouTube and Facebook watching us. Also on Twitter, wherever you're watching us at, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channels, whether it's the YouTube page there or on Facebook. And if you're on Twitter, please make sure you're following O&G Strike Zone. And then when you get a chance to get over to Facebook or YouTube, go make sure to join our feed. Well, Kelvin, we got a lot to talk about, and I guess no better place to start than some of the things that happened over the weekend. And we are not talking sports related. So I know it's all that America has been buzzing about for the last, where are we now, 72 hours? Has it been 72 hours? It still feels like yesterday, Kelvin, when that incident between Will Smith and Chris Rock happened, and it had extra special meaning for us, and I say us being Rattler Nation because one of our own was producing the show. And so I know I've had some words which I've said on other shows. I want to give you the first word, as this is the first time we're hearing from you. So however you want to go with it, where you want to start with it, we'll give it about, we'll get this little segment like 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get into the roundup as we go. So I turn it over to you, Kelvin. Your thoughts?
It was really unfortunate incident, unnecessary, a bit of a drama queen type situation for me. I was really excited about, one of our own producing, having an all-black production company behind it. I know that the world was watching, and some people who were watching to be critical, to point out everything that wasn't right. I thought it was an excellent production from beginning to end. They did a really good job. It was nice to see A&T's, I think King and Queen, part of the festivities. And
really?
I thought everything was really going well. I thought the it had been Women's Month, and the Regina Hall and Wanda Sykes and Amy. I thought they were doing a really good job. I thought they were funny.
Yes.
They mixed in some political stuff with some just their normal stuff, and I thought everything was going really well. And then we get to the moment, right? And first of all, I'll say that what Chris had joked on 2 or 3 other people, including a couple, prior to mentioning Jada and Will. So, and that's what comedians do. They always blur the line between what's politically correct and what's just going all in, and I have no problem with that. And I thought I personally didn't know about Jada's situation with her hair at all. I didn't know anything about it, and there's some stories out there that Chris didn't know either. But when he did the joke, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, not having that background. There's, of course, with entanglements and all the other stuff that been discussed on the red table, I thought it was a lot more things. If you want to get puffy, that he should have been puffy about and want to fight about. I didn't see that as that big of a deal. And he initially seemed to laugh and was taking it in stride, but Jada did not. When the camera was panning to her, and it triggered some kind of reaction in Will that was totally overreaction. And it bothers me for several reasons. Reason number one is it was in front of the company, as we say. It was in front of the world, and there are those who are watching who I've seen things on Fox News and some other media outlets, conservative outlets, and of course they're taking that moment talking about there were more fights at the more violence at the this award than a Donald Trump rally and those kind of cheap shots. They already are, so you don't expect nothing else from that. But I'm upset that we gave him that opportunity. And then to add a little more context to it, it was two successful brothers, yes, right? Who are at the top of their and have been for a long time, the top of their fields, and to display that kind of disrespect to each other publicly. I mean, they're supposedly friends. All of them have worked together on things before. To show the world that we as successful brothers don't value each other and can be violent toward each other, just putting that in internationally stratosphere, that was bothersome for me. And then, of course, Will and all the people, not just Will, other nominees, Sam Jackson won an award, and that got kind of overshadowed, and what's the Quest won an award, and that kind of got overshadowed. And then, like I said, I thought the show was entertaining. The most people watched in a while. So everybody did well, and then that incident is something that overshadowed the whole thing. And I want to say, I don't want to see anybody disrespected. If it made, comedians make jokes, man, and so sometimes they cross the line. And if people feel offended, I don't want to be dismissive of how Jada felt, might have felt, and about that particular joke. And if it crossed the line, the way you handle that is, during a break or so forth, you go to the person, pull them to the side. Hey, man, I was disrespectful. You crossed the line. You handle it like that, man. But what you never do, and I have to say this for our audience, you can't go on stage and be violent. You just can't do it. I mean, there's better ways to get your point across and get a W. In this case, that was the worst case scenario. Everybody took an L because of it. And hopefully we'll turn this into a teachable moment, though, and more good will come out of it than bad.
As educated people, as people who have advanced in just life, as human nature, people who have advanced, we've accepted social norms that say it is not okay to just randomly slap people. We lost a little bit of humanity. I think, a lot of it was lost. I've heard some real intelligent discussions about the fact that, like you brought up, two successful brothers. I mean, these are guys. Will Smith has the kind of money that, lets you do certain things that people don't get away with. We understand that kind of act won't cut it anywhere else in society. You can't even get away with that in the NBA because they would have fined you, penalized. They would have got you fined and hemmed up so fast, and you would have lost money within 24 hours. But what have we not seen? No suspensions, no loss. You know what I'm saying? It just goes. It's another reminder that that's Hollywood. We have to remember to not. Yes,
it is coming. They already talking about it. They're meeting tonight at the board, the Academy board, and all that. So it's coming.
I just hate it for the fact that number one, I hate it for Will Packer and Will Packer Productions. A seminal moment in their career, a seminal moment in Will Smith's career, ruined in that moment. But back to Will Packer, a great show. I love the way that they started the show with a live performance. There's so many angles that we could go. We could talk about the live performance by Beyonce in Compton. Started off with an appearance by Venus and Serena, who, my goodness, I had never seen Venus look that good. I'm sorry, bro. I mean, I I was like, yo, Venus, whoa. She got him out. She's looking good. It's breathing. It must be a cool day. Venus had me, and normally it's Serena who catches my eye, but she's married and got a kid, so we'll let that go. But Venus, though, I'm like, yo. But anyway, move it, and then
Don't
like
get
you said,
slapped.
Right. I had to stop. I had to catch myself. Three female hosts. Great comedic timing by all of them. Very funny intro. And I heard one guy who I follow on Twitter who covers the Academy. He was so bent that I saw him tweet, "We haven't had the first award, and it's 17 minutes into the show." And I'm sitting there like, dude, relax. And then they're keeping track. They're like, "Oh, we're not going to get done by 11 o'clock." Well, at some point, you didn't want to be done by 11 o'clock. I didn't go to sleep. I was so caught up in all the extra, but just people complaining. But I appreciated everything. I enjoyed watching, and I normally don't watch award shows, but I enjoyed watching. I came to the table because of Will Packer Productions, obviously a Rattler, someone that I have known, someone that I have even worked with as an undergrad. And so to see that moment get tarnished a little bit, I'll say, it got tarnished because we'll always talk about that Oscar and that performance, but also for guys like Questlove, who Chris Rock came up to present to present the best documentary, in which Questlove ended up winning for, I think it's Summer of Soul, which is on it's on Disney Plus, matter of fact. So if you have not seen Summer of Soul, it's on Disney Plus. That was ruined. His moment was ruined. And so the Williams, their family, their moment, the honoring their father was ruined. And I thought Richard Williams, I hate to say that, I thought he was dead. And I know we made that mistake in a previous show. He's not. So I had to correct that. We thought, because I think we said that in the sports wrap, or at least AD and I, and he's not. He's still alive. He had a statement. So it's like, oh, Richard Williams is alive. I felt kind of bad once I saw that. I'm like, oh, why did we think he was dead? Why did I think he was dead? But anyway, so, I've reached out to Will Packer's chief of staff, and hopefully when he feels like talking, he will want to come on the show. We want to come on to O&G and just talk about everything that went in. We ain't got to talk about the bad stuff, because there was plenty of good stuff that happened that we can talk about. So anybody out there watching, we'd love to have Will Packer. And, I sent a tweet out or a DM to his chief of staff, and hopefully she'll eventually see it and maybe consider coming on. A lot of projects, even some sports related projects. I know that we can talk to Will about, but I'm hoping. And I'll tell you, last thing, Kelvin, I would love to do a podcast. I told Roy this off. I can do a podcast on that moment for like an hour. Right? There's so many interesting angles that I'm still processing as I listen to different opinions. I'm still processing different opinions about that. And I know a lot of you guys out there are too. So we will. It's one of those moments. Maybe what I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat rooms is, I want you to think about moments in television or moments in sports that you really never thought you'd see, and when you saw it, it was like, yo, I did not see that happening. I would have never thought that would happen. I heard some different things, such as Bill Buckner in 1986 with the Mets, as he was with the Red Sox. Obviously, the ball went through his legs. The Red Sox on the verge of winning the World Series in 1986, blow it in Game 6. I heard that as something, but if you think about moments in sports or just television that you never thought you would see. Bill Buckner in 1980. Last night or Sunday night would definitely be one of those moments. As you can see, joining us right now, the third member of our team, Kofi Hemingway, made it in nice and safely. Kofi, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Man, we're doing well. We're just doing a little banter back and forth until you came in. We'll we'll kind of move forward. I know you've already kind of expressed your thoughts on the afterglow with off script a little bit. So anybody wants to hear Kofi's take, I'm sure that is a very entertaining. I've got to go back and see that because I know you and Scotty were probably off the chain. So I have to go back and watch that. I got that on my save to watch later list of shows this week. So I will be going back and watching that. But let's get into the roundup quickly because coming up a little bit later at the bottom of the hour shortly, we've got our first guest, the OBC Executive Director. Baseball is on our mind. Baseball, we got out of the slump, fellas. We got out of the slump. The boys, they took it out on Mississippi Valley State, did they? I mean, and Mississippi Valley State came in with a pretty decent record. We put up, I'm going to do the math here, 37 runs and gave up only 6 over the course of 3 games. And I know we were talking the last week about how we needed better pitching, we needed hitting. All of it came together one weekend. What's your analysis of what we saw, Kelvin?
So I talked to a couple of people who were at the games and asked what adjustments did they see. And they did say that Coach changed the pitching rotation a little bit and had some, at least in one case, had a pitcher that he hadn't used a whole lot in one of the games and tinkered with the lineup just a little bit. But I was glad just to see us because I was getting worried. Like I said, once you're 20, 22 games in, you know, you almost at that point in baseball, even though it's a long season where you log in, you are what you see. So to see that we actually consistently over an entire weekend series hit the ball well as pitch for us good, you know. Then what I was interested to see was how we will follow up in our midweek game yesterday against Jacksonville. Now, we ended up losing that game in 12 innings. However, we fought back in that game. Jacksonville is the same team that beat us, 15, 16, nothing, or some ridiculous score about 2 weeks ago in the midweek game. But we put up 6 runs, came back in the 8th and 9th innings to do so. We had an opportunity to win it at the bottom of the 9th and 10th. We had runners on base. I think one in the third with 1 out in the 10th inning. But ultimately we didn't get it crossed, and we ended up losing that game 9-6. But what it showed me is that the team has awakened. And I think we're at Alabama A&M this weekend. So I want to see us follow up the last 4 games with another good showing out there. Then I'll feel a lot better. But, you know, it was a good response.
Kofi, how you feeling about baseball showing up over the weekend and sort of the pitching was there? You called for it, and they showed up.
Well, you know, it's a process. You know, baseball season is very rigorous. It's not just like with any season. You want to be playing your best at the end because that's how you get into the postseason. So making sure that everybody is healthy and that we have solid momentum going into the tournament is kind of sort of what I'm looking for. But it was good to see the hitters respond, to see the pitchers respond, see us step up and win some games, because confidence really with any athlete goes a really long way. When you do not have confidence, you're not playing with confidence, you will struggle across the board to have success and to win as a team. So it was good to see them build that confidence, and that confidence showed up against Jacksonville. It felt like they could compete and win. So I want to see us continue to build and take it to the next level as we go forward.
Yeah, I was just trying to take a peek at the box scores just to see how deep our pitchers went. In the first 2 games, both starting pitchers went a solid 6 innings. And then in the third game, which was a 5-0 shutout, in that contest. That was Kellen Fox. He went 7 1/3 in that inning, or in that contest. So good for our pitching staff. The fact that those guys actually had some good outings. And coming up, yeah, Alabama A&M is upcoming. The boys are traveling to Huntsville, Alabama this weekend for a 3-game series. The Bulldogs are sitting tied with us. That's the interesting thing. You know, we sort of talk about how bad things were looking. Well, we're 3-3 in the conference. I mean, that's what kind of season this is going to be. I mean, this is going to be a battle all season long, and this is the early part of it. So, you know, we're 3-3. Alabama A&M is 3-3 in conference. We're only a couple games out of first place. Bethune-Cookman is in first place over in the East. So, you know, it's not like they are so far ahead of us. The Bulldogs are 5-15 overall. So most of their wins have come in conference play. So it's a good opportunity for us to take. I believe this is a good opportunity for us to take 2 out of 3, to be honest. You know, this is a great opportunity to take 2 out of 3. So we'll hopefully do that this weekend. So if you're in the Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama area, make sure you head over to Alabama A&M for those games. I don't have any start times as I look on our website, FAMUathletics.com. I don't see any start times. So make sure to check FAMUathletics.com, or you can follow, I believe it's FAMU_baseball. So, we can check in for that. Let's take a break because I believe we have scheduled our interview with the Orange Blossom Classic Executive Director. And so we'll hope that Miss Kendra Bulluck-Majors is there, and we'll get into that conversation. And if there's a delay, we'll end up coming back and talking a little bit more about softball, bowling, track and field. All were in competition over the weekend, so a little more of the Rattler Roundup. And then, of course, later we still got to talk about FAMU football, spring, big pro day, lots to talk about there as well. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi, we're all here in the house. We'll be back in just a moment.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry. Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it. Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome, everybody, to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8. He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure, it's wireless. Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you. All of it.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi, and it's a pleasure to start counting down to the Orange Blossom Classic with none other than the executive director of the Orange Blossom Classic, Miss Kendra Bulluck-Majors. Ms. Bulluck-Majors, how you doing this evening? Thank you for coming on the O&G Strike Zone.
I'm doing well, thank you. And guys, thank you so much for having me.
No, look, hey, we appreciate you coming on and helping us promote and get excited about the OBC 2022. Now, look, I don't know. No one has come up with any. I mean, this is a big game coming up. I don't know if we've come up with anything other than, I mean, this is a rematch. The SWAC title was decided last year in this game. I don't know if we've, marketing-wise, have come up with anything. I know we're calling it the big payback, but I don't know what the OBC is calling it, or Jackson State. I don't know what they're calling it.
But is calling it. We're calling it OBC the Remix.
Ooh,
Last year was the revival, of course, because as you know, we had a 40-plus year hiatus. So the first year was the revival. This year is the remix.
I love it. I love it. The remix. So you, for those who may not know, and I'm going to read right from the bio here on orangeblossom.classic.com. Those who may not be familiar with you, you're an entrepreneur and a business professional, over 18 years experience in business development, acquisition, and management in South Florida. And it was in 2008 that you obtained the rights to the Orange Blossom Classic. I'm curious about how that process came to be. What was it that was attractive to you about the Orange Blossom Classic and bringing this game and this weekend and experience back to South Florida?
Well, as you just mentioned in the bio, I am in the area of business development. One of the businesses that I currently run works with supplemental education services for youth. So just in working with a lot of youth, working with student athletes, having, family members who attended FAMU. I was actually 2 years old when the last Orange Blossom Classic was played. So I always heard about it, but of course, it's nothing like actually experiencing it. So just in, talking to kids and hearing what their dreams and aspirations were, we often heard them talk about the Division 1A universities. Down here in South Florida, we have Florida Memorial, of course, who is our local HBCU, but we have such a strong FAMU alumni base. And we didn't have that football presence at the time. Florida A&M, of course, well known for football, but unfortunately, Florida Memorial did not have a football program. So originally, I'm from North Carolina. Growing up in North Carolina, it's about North Carolina A&T. It's about Winston-Salem State. My mom is a graduate of Shaw University. My older sister is a graduate of North Carolina Central. So I grew up around HBCUs. And in talking to kids down here, you hear a lot about University of Miami and Florida State. So I just felt like that was something that was missing. So just in conversations with different people, I started doing some research, found out, of course, how important the game was to this community, and started having conversation with a lot of our local elected officials, specifically Vice Chair Oliver Gilbert, who at the time when we started this process in 2008, he was actually a councilman for the city of Miami Gardens. And I said, hey, why don't we do this? And we just got together, and here we are.
Nice, nice. Kelvin, go ahead.
So I'm interested to know, how did you get into actual event? This is a major event, and there's a lot of things that happen to make something like this successful. So if you don't mind, talk about, the journey of from it becoming an ideal to actually playing the first game, and then what surprised you, and what did you learn that you might do a little different?
Okay, well, let me answer the surprise. COVID was the surprise. Okay. But again, starting this process, so as you know, for many years, there was again, we started this process in 2008. And for many, many years, there was, we met with all of the administration, all of the athletic directors that had actually come through FAMU. And we would get really close, in planning. And then unfortunately, we would have a new administration in place, or someone would kind of change, move around, and we would lose communication. We went through a couple of years where, unfortunately, as you guys know, the band was suspended, and we said, well, we can't bring back the Orange Blossom Classic without the Marching 100, and there is no Orange Blossom Classic without FAMU. So we put it on hold for a while, and then finally, with the administration that we have in place now, they recognized the value and the importance of being down here where they have the largest concentration of their alumni base. So we were able to get the right people in place at the right time. So we made the announcement, actually, and we started on the contract side in 2018. We made the announcement in 2019 that the game would be returning in 2020, Labor Day weekend. And then we all know what happened March 2020. So that was the process. It was a lot of on again, off again. And I tell people, I'm a mother of two boys. So when you tell a child that you're going to do something, sometimes you have to do it. Not sometimes, most of the time. And my son, both of my kids are in sports. And when I would kind of pick it up, and then again, the administration would change. And my son would say, hey, Mom, whatever happened to that football game that you said you were going to do? Because he's really into football. And I said, okay, well, let me pick it back up again. So it just went from there, and here we are. And you're right, this is a huge undertaking. But I think last year when we finally kicked off, I remember I had a moment where I was standing on the sidelines, and of course we had just watched the teams run out of the tunnel. And I said, this is what it was for. This is what it was all about after 10 plus years of making this happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Kofi.
Man, woman of God, I mean, my hands are, my hat's off to you. I'm not wearing one right now, but if I had one on, I would put one on, I'd take it off, and I'd give it to you like, blam, there you go right there. Because, I understand
every time
the
I do these interviews, I stress that it is not just me. I'm the person that stands in front of the microphone, but you cannot do something of this undertaking without the support of your elected officials, without a really strong
hands
team.
Down. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
you definitely need a team, because the event itself is bigger than you, is heavier than you. So you need other people that are going to help you to lift it. So I definitely understand that. Having been around classic games and, marching the band at FAMU, I would say that the first year of the return, it was successful because we played, I think, FIU. I think the last time we played down there, it was like 17,000 people, and that was a Miami school. Prior to that, I think we had dwindled down into the 15,000s with the game. So to get 33,000 at the first game for a first-year game in the middle of COVID, dealing with rain, dealing with all of the stuff that was going on, I think it was I would say it was successful. I would say it was a win. That being said, we know the classic formula for success, which is, of course, you have a strong home-based team with Florida A&M University. You've got a team in Jackson State that has the ability to travel. But the large portion of the success is going to come from the engagement of the South Florida community. I know that it was difficult last year, especially with COVID. The high school bands weren't able to participate on a number of different levels with that. So really with the parade, you had people scared to come out during the parade because of COVID. Just a lot of those little things that contribute to the overall success. Talk about community engagement. Now, I want to say I have seen, I've got friends and family in Atlanta. They're like, boy, they are talking about the darn Orange Blossom Classic up here in Atlanta. It's on the radio. I was riding down the expressway on 295. I saw a big billboard with the Orange Blossom Classic on. I was like, they're putting a lot of effort into letting people know about the game. So it's good with those promotions, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that South Florida has the ability to support this game on its own. And if it's going to remain, that's where the success is going to come from that community engagement. So talk about that level of community engagement, what's going to bring the shift this year.
Well, you're right. And, like I said, we have the largest, FAMU has the largest concentration of alumni in South Florida. So that's big. And one of the things I always say about FAMU is over the years, when you talk about the 15,000, 17,000, you think about it, that's still great. Number one, wasn't it 2 HBCUs? So I always say whether FAM is 1 in 10 or 10 in 1, you're guaranteed to get anywhere from 15 to 17. But now what Coach Simmons has done as far as, really just, what they've done with that program, it's amazing. And what we're doing here in South Florida is, of course, marketing, promoting, like you said, in Atlanta. We do put a lot of marketing in that area because it works for both schools. Ironically, both schools have a very large alumni base in the Atlanta area. And Atlanta is one of the easiest destinations when you think about flying in and out of the city. So we do that. But again, on the South Florida side, community engagement is very important. For me, it's number one, it starts with scholarships. When you're talking about scholarships, you get parents involved, you get them committed. We talk about the history of the game, which brings in those individuals who remember the original Orange Blossom Classic. Last year we had what we call the Legends of the OBC, where we honored people who were a part of that original Orange Blossom Classic group. And then knowing that we were coming in the middle of a pandemic, we thought we were coming off of the pandemic, and then Delta came along. It was important to us that we come into this community and we make sure that we're helping small businesses. So we started a program called the Business Unite program. We wanted to make sure, because we are representing HBCUs, that we also represent those minority-owned businesses. So with the Business Unite program, I made it a goal that we would use at least 75% of our vendors who were African-American or minority-owned businesses. So with that, everything from barricades to porta potties to catering to, hair and makeup for a lot of our celebrity artists and guests, we used those minority-owned businesses to provide those services. So we do try to make sure that there's an economic infusion into the community that will, turn over again and again. So, I would say from a community engagement perspective, scholarships, we did a job recruitment fair, very important, again, coming off of a pandemic. So with that job recruitment fair, we had a lot of our corporate sponsors that brought their full HR departments on site at the stadium on that Friday before the game, and people actually walked away with jobs on site. And again, the parade and the Empowerment Fest. So those were free events that the community could come out and enjoy as a family, and at the same time leave with information to be empowered. So that part is most important. Community engagement and scholarships are our two strongest initiatives that we really, really focus on.
Hubba, I think that's amazing. I just wanted to, just add, obviously Bethune-Cookman is playing the University of Miami the day before. So it's going to be one more power pack. It's almost like the Florida Classic is going to be in Miami with the OBC. We have both participating teams. So is there any possibility with double headers or any partnerships looking to work with them, or is that impossible, or how would that work?
We have had conversations. There is nothing right now that is finalized or etched in stone. It's really difficult because it is two separate games. And then from a timing perspective, Cookman typically, because they're, so close, they're not here for a couple of days. This isn't a classic week for them. This is, a one game situation. So typically like this, they're in and out. So logistically, it does create some issues for us to plan anything together, but we have had conversations. However, it does do, of course, for the fan base, like you said, the conversations that we've had have been, this is probably going to be like an HBCU weekend on steroids, so having Cookman, Jackson State, and FAMU in the city all at one time. And let me just say, get your hotels right now. Even if you haven't gotten your tickets, grab your hotels. Okay. So that is really big. It is definitely going to be a huge HBCU weekend. So what we're looking at is that you have people who may come in early for the Cookman game and decide to stay over because they do kind of get a double header. So that may help us on the attended side. And then you may have people who may not have had intentions of going to either game to say, well, hey, if I can get, two in one weekend, why not do it? So I do believe, it does help both games, both the UM game as well as our game from an attendance perspective. Now, from a logistics perspective, that's another conversation, because you're talking about, we have no idea yet. The NCAA hasn't said, what time that game, the ACC hasn't said what time that game will be. So with that, we've got to kind of work together to turn this stadium over when their game is over. So those are, of course, conversations that we have to have collectively as well. So it just depends on what side you're on. If you're on my operations side, you're like, oh no, Cookman is playing. If you're on my marketing side, you're like, oh yeah, Cookman is playing. So it depends. It depends.
Any plans for their band to participate in any of the events or no?
So you're just asking me all the questions that people can't give everything away. Again, we're having conversations, but nothing has been confirmed. No, nothing has been confirmed.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I was curious about when I look at originally Albany State was going to be the team for the 2020 year, and obviously that got scrapped. And then it just kind of, and I don't want to say it just kind of worked out because I'm sure there's a lot of moving parts to make it happen, that it was Jackson State and then it was us moving into the SWAC, and then you have the SWAC being a part of this as well. And it worked out as a 2-year deal with Jackson State and the SWAC. And so I'm curious about the future and what kind of agreements or what have you been told from Florida A&M in terms of this game and just the future. And I know we're concentrating on this, but my mind can't help me but wander ahead because I want this to be successful. I want this to be our annual kickoff to the season. So I asked this question with that in mind. And as much as you have thought about it, I'm sure you have, and as much as you're willing to share, what are your thoughts about this current deal as it's structured, how it will advance? What are your thoughts on the future after the 2022 year?
Well, you're right. So 2020, we were supposed to have Albany State. That was year one where we were just kind of getting our feet wet, putting some fillers out there to see how the public would respond. And then, of course, jumping on in 2019, these schedules are often planned, as you know, years in advance. So we were in communications actually with Jackson State for year one, but they had something scheduled, and VP Robinson said, "Hey, we want to be in Florida, so let's stay in communication." We had no idea that we always planned to bring them in for year two, which then of course became our year one, but no idea when we were planning it that we would then have FAMU move into the SWAC. We would then have Dion come on as the coach. So that was just phenomenal, but a lot of people assume, I think, that we ran to Jackson State sort of after that, but it was actually in reverse. We had already been in communications, and then all of those things just happened. And this essentially became the game that would, determine the SWAC champion. So as far as the future goes, the original Orange Blossom Classic was FAMU. So, I am fortunate to work with an awesome administration at FAM. VP Gaucher is outstanding. And he understands that there is a benefit to being here. So with that, I don't foresee the Orange Blossom Classic moving forward without FAMU. And I think that, collectively we're in agreement with that. So, again, our goal is to make sure that not only are we taking care of the community, but we're providing scholarships, and that we're taking care of the universities, so we provide an economic infusion to them. We have a really good working relationship to make sure that it's fair and equitable across the board. So I think as long as we stay, on that course, I can see this, as you said, being around for a very long time.
Nice. Kelvin, I give you the last word, as we got about 5 minutes here left in our segment. So I'll give you the last question.
All right, I got to get a little meat and potatoes on this thing. So what I'm interested in, and I know you can only go so far in discussing these type things, but there has been some discussion in terms of, first of all, I know you have projections, right? But this year, what does success look like in terms of attendance for the game? Mm-hmm. And then around that same theme, talk about the ability of the schools to earn. I know there's a flat guarantee. Are there any incentive clause in terms of exceeding a certain attendance number or other things where they can generate revenue off this too?
So there again is our goal is to make sure, like I said, that this is fair and equitable across the board. Of course, on our side, you don't get up and work like this because it is a lot of work, to not generate revenue. But again, I'm fortunate to work with individuals that understand that it has to make sense for all parties. One of the reasons that I say the executive director, and I hate the term promoter, because when you think of promoters, they come in, they do parties, they grab the money, and that's it. So I don't look at it in that way. I look at it as a partnership among the universities that we're working with. So again, without going into detail there, we do understand what it costs to bring teams down. We're at the bottom. We're in South Florida. So if you're moving hundreds of student athletes, you're moving, hundreds of band members, and then there's trainers and managers. So it does cost. So we keep all of that in mind. And I think as long as, again, we work and keep that in perspective, I see no reason why this won't go on. And again, I'm fortunate to have a really good working relationship with both universities. And I think that's because we do understand that. So yeah, I think we'll be good. In terms of what success looks like, again, what I mentioned earlier, community, scholarships, bringing on more corporate partners. One of the things that I want for the Orange Blossom Classic is that we're not just thought about Labor Day weekend. I think one of the things that could really make this successful for everybody involved is if, we're doing events leading up to the game, whether it be, symposiums, combines, things like that could make this an event that you think about throughout the year. And then the game itself is just the icing on the cake. That is our goal. And I think what that does is, again, it helps the universities throughout the year, and it helps us throughout the year. So we're not so dependent on everything manifesting that 1 week.
All right. Tickets are on sale now, folks. Ticketmaster, you can purchase your tickets on Ticketmaster. You can go to orangeblossomclassic.com, purchase it. How else can they purchase tickets?
OrangeBlossomClassic.com. There's a link there. You can also go directly to Ticketmaster.com and just put Orange Blossom Classic in the search. So Ticketmaster is our primary outlet. I would say make sure that if you do, Google, make sure that you are on Ticketmaster.com. We know how these resale sites go. So we don't want emails saying, wait a minute, my friend told me that their ticket was this and I paid like triple the amount. So just, the safest thing to do is orangeblossomclassic.com, Ticketmaster, and click on that ticket link. Also, you can go on our website and sign up to be a part of our e-blast. So that way you'll get firsthand information about the ancillary events when those tickets go on sale. And you can stay abreast of all of the information related to the weekend.
OBC, the remix, is very interesting. Yeah. That the history of our rivalry with Jackson State. I think the last time we played Jackson State in a 2-year run, my memory, I think it was 60-something, 61, 62, something like that. We lost the first one, but we won the second game. So, I believe in history repeating itself sometimes in good ways. And I'm feeling real confident about this year. So that's a little foreshadowing for you history majors out there. Just be ready, because we'll be hitting you over the head with all kinds of history about that 1960-something game. I don't know if it was 62 or 63, whatever it was. The second time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I know my stuff. I deep dive after this stuff. Let people know how they can. I mean, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, let people know how they can reach out to you and just follow along with everything going on up to kickoff.
Orange Blossom FC on all of the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram. Go on, like the pages. Again, we update information daily, weekly. So if you are not, on the website, you can always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Orange Blossom FC.
Well, it's been a pleasure and honor to have you come
in hotels.
Oh, yes. Get your hotels. Yes, that's right. Good reminder. Go get hotels now. Don't wait. Get the hotels, and then, the game tickets you can get, but get the hotels first before they sell out. Ms. Bulluck-Majors, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on. And if you want to come back in the fall before it starts and promote some stuff, you're more than welcome. You always have a home here on the O&G Strike Zone. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Well, I look forward to coming back, and thank you guys again for having me.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Let's take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone, top of hour number 2. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi, it's a pleasure to have back good friend of the program, Ty Floyd. Miss Floyd, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we are wonderful, wonderful. Glad to have you back on. For everyone watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you are, make sure you not only are you following us at OMG Strike Zone, but go follow Ty. If you're not following Ty, at THAIA Floyd, FLOYD, that's who you need to go follow. Make sure you're following her on social media. And, one of the questions, I don't know how much of the interview you had a chance to listen to, Ty, with the executive director from the OBC, but I was going to ask everyone out there, obviously after Jackson State, who would you like to see FAMU play in the OBC in the future? So I'm going to start with you, Ty. Outside of Jackson State in the future, Labor Day weekend, let's say 2023, who would you want to see FAMU play?
So my sister, my best friend, she lives in Huntsville, Alabama, right? That's where Alabama A&M is. Every time I'm on campus, they tell me to leave because I'm a Rattler. They don't like us. They don't like how we won at the very last minute, the last game. They have all these different excuses. Oh, there's injuries. Oh, our young guys are out. They have taken so many guys out the transfer portal. So that's a brewing rivalry, and I think that they're going to be our next big.
Interesting. How about you, Kofi? Who would you, just run around the horn real quick, who would you want to see us in the future play?
Okay, this is going to make some people upset, but hey, you know. All right.
You're known for
So,
doing that. You're known for saying some out of pocket stuff.
Don't do
so
it.
for
Don't do it,
me,
Kobe. I know where you're going. Go
so
ahead.
for me, the game that I want to see FAMU play in Miami would be Bethune-Cookman. FAMU, Bethune-Cookman in Miami, or OBC, change up the Florida Classic, or Tennessee State.
Woo! Yeah, you're right. Some people gonna be upset for you that one. How about you, Kelvin?
So I have two nominees. Tennessee State was the one, but I know they had a John Merritt Classic Labor Day weekend at home, so that would be difficult. I would love to
Oh
see
yeah.
us play North Carolina A&T.
Yes. Yep.
Ooh.
Yes. I agree with you there.
Good
That's where
one.
I was going to go. My first
It's a good
was
one.
going to be Tennessee State, and then as we were going, as I was thinking, or North Carolina A&T. I would love to bring that Aggie Nation back down to come on and get some down in Miami. So I think they travel too. I think they would be given the fact that they're not in an HBCU conference. I think they would travel. You don't think they would travel?
They don't normally travel. Let me just put it out like that. They don't have a history of traveling, but their recent, this new blood that they have coming into their institution, they're becoming more of a football school. So, with it being Labor Day weekend, I would say that would be the ideal time to play them. They can get cheap flights. They can get on a plane, come from Atlanta, come on down. So, I'm down with that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm be interested to see what you guys think out there on Facebook and YouTube. Who would make for a nice, juicy opponent in 2023? We'll go ahead and send since now we have a direct line with the executive director. I mean, we just go ahead and start dropping some hints so that they can start working on 2023. Ty, you're coming off of working the SWAC basketball tournament. We are basketball. We haven't had a chance to connect over the last couple weeks. By the way, outstanding job. I know we've been saying it on Twitter and everything, but to be able to personally tell you, you knocked it out of the park. You were awesome and from the first game to the last. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tell us what was I've heard you say this in other places, or maybe I read it somewhere. Describe kind of how it all kind of quickly came together, and just what were where did your did your training while you were in J school help you, or who did you go? I mean, you look really polished. I'm telling you, you look polished. Where did that come from? Just take us behind the scenes.
Okay, so I originally was not supposed to be on ESPN. I heard something like the SWAC pitched me to do it, and they had somebody else. So I was like, you know what? It's a blessing to just be able to go to Birmingham and cover the tournament. That way I'll be on the SWAC's social media platforms, and I'll get to do my thing. I knew from the moment I booked the ticket that weekend was going to change my life, period. I didn't know how, but I knew it was going to change my life. And when I got there, Andrew Roberts, who is the person who I report to, he was like, "Hey, I gotta tell you something. I wanted to wait till we were face to face." So I was like, "Okay." I was like, "What's up? What's going on?" And he was like, "Well, there was some kind of conflict, and so the ESPN person who was supposed to do the tournament can't come. Would you like to do it?" And I was like, "Would I like to do it? Absolutely. Yes, I want to do it." And after I said that and it really sat in, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm really about to be on ESPN tomorrow. Jesus, come and help me." I was so scared. I was a little bit nervous. That very same night, I called my mentors, Larisha Harris. She's on the ACC network. And the next morning, I had a phone call with Laura Oakman, who is Fox sideline reporter, the third longest tenured. And we just had conversations. They were getting me ready. I talked to the producer, Brian Duvall, and he was like, the more comfortable you are, the more we'll integrate you. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. This is my opportunity to show who I am and what I can do. I'm about to seize this opportunity. So To make a long story short, I just channeled my inner J school. I channeled, the ghosts of Pam Oliver and Tiffany Green, and I got on that sideline and I did what I had to do. And everybody has been showing me so much love. So while I have this platform, I would just like to say thank you. And thank you to you gentlemen as well for always supporting me.
True that. True that. Kelvin, go ahead.
Absolutely.
So I want you to give you a little more opportunity to talk about the experience itself. Being on that stage, being in that platform, going through those scripts and so forth, pre-game, post-game productions and so forth. Just talk about things that may have surprised you, things that you learned, etc.
Ooh, I learned that it's very draining. That is something that I learned. It is very, very draining. For us, the tips were at 11. So the first women's game would be at 11. There'd be a game at 2. There'd be a game at 5:30, and then there'd be a game at 8. So
Oh, I think we lost her for a second. Did I lose? I lost Kofi too at the same time, Kelvin.
iPhones, man. Them iPhones, man. That's why I got off that platform.
There we go. Apple products. Hold on. We'll see. We'll give Ty a chance to jump back in there. So as soon as we see her come in, one of the things. There she is. There she is. All right, Ty. Go ahead and finish with your story. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
man, Wi-Fi is being my biggest hater right now. They don't want me to capitalize off this shine. That's so rude. But basically, we had a very, very long day. Get there at 9, leave at midnight. It's a lot of work. I wish I had like a Fitbit or like an Apple Watch or something so I could count my steps as I was going around the arena, going behind, certain benches and listening. It was just a very gratifying experience overall. I did have 2 mess ups that I can remember, and I was like, oh, I was like, no. And one of them happened with Coach McCullum, you guys.
I caught that one. I caught that one.
I was
caught
like,
that.
oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to have short-term memory about it because I had to come back and get the other coach. So I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I just had to shake it off. I think I called my dad and I was like, did you see that? Oh my God, I blew it. Ah! And I was going off about it. And then as soon as I hung up the phone with him, I was like, and I walked back out there like nothing happened. So I definitely learned that short-term memory loss is important, and so is rest.
Yeah, no, I saw that when he he was kind about it though. He didn't, so it wasn't like, he beat you up too badly about it. I don't know what you don't have to tell us about the second one. I was going to try to we can talk about the other positives though a little bit later. Kofi, jump in there.
Yeah, so really with the whole tournament experience, would you say that I guess from a location standpoint, do you think that the game would be better served, or the tournament itself would be better served in Birmingham, on campuses, or in the ATL?
Ooh, I will say that it's a disadvantage to anyone who is not Alabama State and Alabama A&M. They were bringing buses, mascots, cheerleaders. Like it was like home games for them. It was so loud to the point where like the band was eating my IFB alive. Like I had to snatch it out my ear if I wasn't doing something where I needed to hear the producer because it was so loud. It was so loud. So I think that it would be interesting to see it in a different location. Birmingham is where the SWAC office is, so I guess that's why they have it there. But I mean, I would like to see it in a place like ATL where it's very, very neutral. There were really no fans for any other school other than maybe I want to say, yeah, no, there was really no there was really no fans for any other school really like that, other than Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Yeah.
Wow. So no other bands showed up?
Nope. Alabama State's band was the only band that was there. They did great. They were very loud, but they were the only ones that were there. Texas Southern brought their cheerleaders. I believe Prairie View A&M cheerleaders were there. Alcorn did have a good turnout for the championship game. But other than that, yeah, no. It was all Alabama State, Alabama A&M.
Huh.
Wow.
Jackson State's women, when they played, it looked like there was a good crowd for that game. Maybe that was just the magic of TV.
No, I'm sorry. They did have quite a few people there as well. Jackson State, and they did a phenomenal job. Coach Reed, I love her so much. I love her so much. She's hilarious, and our interviews were so funny. I told her, I was like, "You're making it easy for me." I'm like, "This is my first time. You making it easy." And the one, I think it was the first interview that we had. She was like, I had to remind the girls, remind them of who we are. And so I was like, okay, well, in your words, who are you? She was like, we number one. We SWAC champions. And I said, oh, I couldn't even react how I wanted to react because I wanted to be like, oh, I know that's right. But I was just like, oh, I was like, all right, now we'll see.
and in the second game, while you're talking about Coach Reed, you inspired. Look, I'm gonna give you credit. You inspired her with her halftime speech. I guess when you talked about recap that for those people who may not have heard your halftime conversation with her, I think in the semifinal game.
Yes, at that time, Amisha, she has had SWAC Weekly Honors, SWAC Player of the Year. She's a phenomenal player and a phenomenal person. And I'm a Amisha stan. I'm a huge fan. We ended up talking and clicking. She was great, but she was struggling in that game. And so I said, Coach, how can you get her activated? It was activated. That was the word. And so she went in there and she told her team, like, y'all need to activate yourselves. You need to get activated. And so post game, I asked her about it and she said, that was key. It's a word that you said. And so people are all on my social media is like, oh, not you inspiring folk. You need to put that on a t-shirt. Like they were going crazy about that. So I was like, okay, let me know I could be a motivational speaker someday. But it was awesome. She's amazing.
Yeah. Kofi, you hit on something right there. I hadn't even thought about this SWAC championship being in Atlanta. I mean, that and now that you mention about the crowds and the lack of diversity among all 8 teams or the 10 or different the schools that were there, I mean, Atlanta would seem like that mecca that would bring so many diverse SWAC fan bases in. I mean, I don't know where you would play it though. That would be your challenge because you don't have.
You could play it at Georgia Tech. You could play it at Georgia State. You could play it at Morehouse. They've got a nice size arena. You could play it at the new Atlanta arena. You could play it where the hockey team plays. You could play it at the Gwinnett Center.
I'm funny with that. Just saying, right?
But
I mean, I like your point though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just for me, I know our people in particular, that's really with FAMU. We're kind of bougie and stuff, so if we kind of feel like the city is a little too country for us, we might not necessarily go, or if it's not necessarily that time. But we got to break out of that if we're going to be who we need to be athletically. Seriously. Right. But I know if you have that tournament in Atlanta, Rattler Nation will be there. And so will some other people. We'll be there deep, and we'll be there every night. And the band will probably go because that'll be good recruiting grounds. I don't understand, I know budgetary restraints and stuff like that. But when I was in school, the pep band went everywhere. The basketball team went, especially come tournament time, and that was for the men and the women. And it made a difference in the tournament because you need somebody pushing you, in that, when it comes down to stretch, this is like major. You're literally competing for thousands, possibly millions of dollars if you win the tournament. So having the band there would be a real plus. I don't understand why they weren't there, but that's a whole nother conversation. So really, are you planning on doing any motivational speaking to our women's team?
I think they were kind of
Sorry.
plagued by injuries. I think they were kind of plagued by injuries at one point, and that made all the difference in what happened moving forward. But again, everybody talks about rebuilding stage, rebuilding stage. You got to understand they're in a rebuilding stage. I mean, they're really coming off the Ladon stuff. Coach Kevin Lynham, he left, and now, we have a new coach. We have a lot of new girls, so I think they have to have time to get acclimated. I was actually very, very surprised when I was watching Alabama State. There's a former FAMU player on Alabama State. And we were looking at each other and we were like,
I know you.
where do I know you? We were like, where did we know each other from? She was like, girl, I graduated from FAM. I was like, oh my God. I remember doing a story on the team, and you were on the team. So yeah, our women's team, they're going to continue to get better. They just got to, bring in key pieces, heal, and just gel together as a team. They'll be good. But I will offer any kinds of words of encouragement.
Motivation. Let's go.
As you saw, our unfortunately the men's season didn't end, but MJ Randolph, we had him on last week. I don't know if you had a chance to watch last week. Kofi tried to get the confirmation from him as to whether he's going to come back for another year. It wasn't successful, but he tried his hardest. What motivating words would you give to MJ, who he has a COVID year, but he also has potentially pro prospects? What would you say to MJ about potentially coming back versus weighing those pro prospect opportunities?
Ooh, don't put me on the spot like that. Don't put me on the spot like that. I have to say, I'm an advocate for him going. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rattler Nation, but I'm an advocate for him going. He's riding high. He had a great season. He has all these honors, player of the year. I think you ride that out. I think there's no better way to end that. And coming back for a COVID year, there's just so many risks. And to be honest with you, I'm using this as an example, but it doesn't hold that much relevance to Rattler Nation. But I just think of somebody like, Marvin Wilson of Florida State, right? He came back for that year. That 1 year he was like projected to go pretty high. People were talking about him. He had a lot of buzz. He had just came off of a great season. He was like, nah, I'm come back. We're rebuilding. Go Noles. He ended up getting hurt, couldn't really finish the season out in the way that he wanted to. And he lost I don't want to say he lost his bag, but essentially the journey's different. So I think that for MJ, with all the things that you were able to do, job well done, but go represent on a higher level. That's what I would say.
Ty, you dropping dimes today. Kelvin, go ahead, ask her some other questions because she's dropping knowledge. So you just keep dishing and she'll keep scoring. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was an excellent, articulate argument for him to go.
Yes.
I am interested about what you have going on moving forward. I know we're moving into the spring sporting, and what, if anything, you have involved with those swag office things, and then anything you can announce outside of that.
So for the SWAC, I have pitched 2 different things, and I believe that they have been approved. We're still working out details and all those different things, but the response from the tournament has been overwhelming. A lot of people want to see me more. When I walked in the building, when I'm in Alabama, period, when I'm in the building, they're like, "Oh, you're the SWAC girl, the SWAC princess." That's what they call me. And I'm so grateful and I'm so excited. I took a leap of faith because the SWAC, when I went to go email them about the internship, it said that it was only for students and grad students. I'm far removed from J School. I'm far removed from FAMU. I graduated in 2019. And, COVID happened, kind of knocked me on my butt, broke me a little bit. I was really trying to figure out what the next steps of my career was. And I want to say this because I feel like it could inspire somebody. Not too long ago, I was online looking at how to become a flight attendant or how I could like pivot into doing healthcare because I didn't know what my future held. And it like it almost makes me emotional because there are so many times I thought about, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be here, maybe this and maybe that. And I stuck with it. I was over here interviewing guys in my bathroom because it had great lighting. I was like, trying to find things to do. And now look, it's crazy. And so if anybody's out there and they're chasing a dream and they want something, just stay the course, please. Please, please, please stay the course. So many people open 20 doors and at door 21, they're like, you know what? I'm over it, but the blessing is behind door 22. So you just got to stay focused and you got to stay the course. So I pitched 2 things to be on the SWAC network, to be on our social medias. I'm excited for you all to see that. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. So go ahead over to the SWAC and turn on your post notifications for that. But as far as me, like I mentioned earlier, that weekend changed my entire life. So all I have to say is please send me vibes, prayers, good energy, whatever you believe in, please send that my way because my biggest goals are 1, to inspire, number 2, to be able to tell some great stories of some amazing athletes, especially our HBCU athletes, and number 3, to represent. Okay, to represent the highest of the 7 hills wherever I go. And I'm so close to doing that. So please just send me all your prayers and well wishes.
Girl, you there. Talking about so close. You there. You inspiring people. You represent. Yeah, you there. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
That Rattler blood in you.
Exactly. Exactly. We got spring game coming up. I know you said you're going to be there, right? In spring game in a couple weeks. Yes.
Yes, I will be there. It's very hard for me. I am a big sister, and Florida State decided they want to have theirs on the same day. My baby brother, Jaden Floyd, number 39, is at Florida State. So
okay.
I haven't seen the times yet. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to make it to both, but I'll be at the game for sure.
I think our spring game is 2:00. Kelvin, Kofi, anybody? Yes, 2:00. So we know when ours is. So I don't know what time Florida State's doing theirs, but it is what it is. But I know you got to take care of family, and you'll figure it out somehow, some way. You know how to move through those Tallahassee back roads to get to where you got to get to. You remember it hadn't been that long. I will say this though.
Oh, too well.
Yeah, we just finished the pro day, and I want you to talk about this. What are your thoughts on? There were 30, I believe. Correct me, 32 professional teams, 30 NFL teams that were at pro day. I gotta believe there's a little sense that what helped, and I don't know, maybe I'm right or wrong, but I think it was genius that we had our pro day the day before Florida State had theirs, and it sort of maximized the potential. We didn't have to have a combination of a bunch of different schools in one place. We were able to do ours in our stadium, and then the next day, all those people who wanted to stay in town, guess what? You can go over there to Florida State. It kind of worked. What are your thoughts on FAMU's pro day? And as you think back to some of the pro days that you covered, to where we were the other day, Ty, talk about it.
I think that a lot of people, they always, especially now, they always talk about Dion, Hugh, a little sprinkle of Eddie, but people never talk about how pivotal Willie Simmons has been in building up FAM and what he has done for HBCU football. I think it's huge, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about a lot more. I mean, I guess that since he's not a name like those guys, they kind of overlook him and don't give him his flowers, but I'm here to give it to him because I remember being a freshman and staying until halftime and leaving because I didn't want to watch that, you know what I mean? And that was back before I was covering things and I wasn't obligated to stay. So I remember when it was like we were beating Delaware State and maybe Morgan. And that's when we were in the MEAC, of course. And then Willie Simmons comes. There's a whole change. There's a whole change. And then that year, there was like miscommunication on what was going on with the pro day and all that stuff. And, those guys weren't able to get their shine. And I think that really stuck with him because they were good players during that time. And I think that really stuck with him. And he was like, that'll never happen on my watch again. And it hasn't. Every year is a bigger and bigger turnout. I think that we can always use it to our advantage to do the scheduling like that, because a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone, that's awesome. But at the same time, I think that I think FAMU has earned it. We have really, really great guys that are in this draft class. I think we went from 0 HBCU players getting drafted, and now it's going to be multiple. I think I watched the video where Dion said maybe like 8 or 9, and we're going to build from there. But honestly, I think it's going to be bigger than that. So from where it was to where it is now, it's been beautiful to see.
Well said. Well said. Kofi, I'll give you the last word. So we got about a couple minutes left here. So I'll give you the last word, God. Last question, last thought.
I'm gonna be nice. Don't be. Come on.
I'm scared of him. You guys remember when he tried to group me up with the thick 45s or whatever they were called?
It's thick 36.
He tried to do me like that?
Thick 36.
T-shirt's coming soon. Go ahead.
Lord, she had to bring that up. All right.
She did, right?
So,
you did. You did that time. Nobody else now. But go ahead.
All right. So what are you most looking forward to from FAMU athletics in the upcoming months?
Ooh. I'm looking forward to the transfer portal is popping off, and it's going crazy. I think what wouldn't hurt is just to continue to reevaluate our football team, see what pieces that we can continue to add, because we lost quite a lot of key people, especially with Savion Williams, Marquise Bell. So it's worth just reevaluating where we are. I want to see more people come. The women's basketball team, I would like to see more people come. And I would like to, see what they can do for the men's basketball team as well. But for right now, I would love to just focus on our baseball team. They always do great. Our softball team, they always do great. And see how they can dominate the SWAC. The SWAC, they got some good ones. And I know how, we all were kids at one point. I don't want to say I grew up in the sticks because I did not, but I have family who did. And I remember going out in the backyard and using like a stick and maybe throwing up a soda can. So I know that them kids in Alabama and Louisiana and Mississippi were doing that their whole lives. So it's going to be interesting to see how we compete in the SWAC this year. But I'm excited for that.
Cool.
All right. Ty, let the people know where they can find you and follow you on social media, please.
Yes, you can follow me at Ty Floyd on Twitter and on Instagram. And you can also go to www.tyfloydonair.com. There you can see everything that I've done, even from FAMU days. And I just updated it so you can see highlights from the SWAC tournament as well.
All right. Well said. Well, hey, Ty, we appreciate you coming on. Glad we had a chance to talk to you, give you your flowers for the great job that you did at the SWAC basketball tournament. And we look forward to seeing you at the Orange and Green game, no matter how long it is. We look forward to seeing you there. All right.
Thank you. You guys have a great evening. And everybody watching, have a great evening too.
All right. When we come back, we'll have Coach KJ Black joining us. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome everybody to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like really loves.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. You can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure, it's wireless. Pick something we all like. Okay. Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
And as Dom Tibbetts tells us, that push to be seen paid off today.
6023, 6023.
All eyes were on Florida A&M's Marquise Bell. The Bridgeton, New Jersey native's 4.41 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis drew a lot of attention to him and the school he represents.
It feels amazing. Like, you know, we bringing the change to HBCU. You know, they're not overlooking us no more. So the fact that we can be a part of that change is amazing.
Bell, alongside teammates like Savion Williams, Antoine Collier, and others, showed 30 NFL scouts on Monday afternoon that FAMU football can compete at the next level. A monumental moment that head coach Willie Simmons considers a long overdue achievement.
You know, those guys that have really positioned themselves to be legitimate NFL prospects, you know, they've opened some eyes as well. A few years ago, we took a lot of heat because no scout showed up. Today, 30 or 32 NFL teams showed up today, so I consider that progress.
The question of how many Rattlers will get to see in NFL locker rooms this season is still yet to be answered. But Savion Williams wants to show organizations why he and so many guys from Florida A&M belong in the NFL.
I'm trying to motivate my guys constantly to get better, no matter if it's the quarterback or from the line, long snapper. Make sure my guys right beside me trying to get better. And I'm a great, caring, and genuine dude, and you know what I'm saying, who wants to get better every day. And I promise you're going to get that every day.
In Tallahassee, Dom Tibbetts, ABC 27.
And now tomorrow.
Welcome back, the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. It's a pleasure to have on Coach KJ Black. You just saw some footage there, courtesy of WTXL, ABC 27. Thank you to Allison Posey, Don Tibbetts for allowing us to use that. Coach KJ Black, the new minority coaching fellows and quarterbacks with the quarterbacks for the world champion Los Angeles Rams. Coach, pleasure, congratulations. Welcome to the O&G Strike Zone.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It's good to be back and good to see you guys again, rocking that orange and green. It's a little different in this blue, but looks good on y'all, man. Looks good.
I got to start with that video, Coach, that pro day. Obviously, you've been in LA, as you said, for the last few weeks. But when you see that video and the work, and I believe you were there back when that moment when we didn't have any pros that scouts that came, if I'm not mistaken. So to see where we've come from to what you saw in that video and the other day, what are your thoughts and emotions from what you saw?
I thought it was amazing. And I actually wasn't there. If you remember, I came literally the week before the UCF game in 2019. So I missed that pro day where a lot of guys went unseen, so to speak. But to see 30 teams show up is awesome. And you're just comparing it to other teams in the FCS level. There are not many teams that have that many NFL teams represented at their pro day. So that speaks a lot to what Willie Simmons has done at FAMU. It speaks a lot to the attention that the brand of FAMU has been getting. Because if you talk to a lot of people around the country, I would imagine they're saying that FAMU is one of the more recognizable brands, and it continues to go up. I mean, you look at social media, you look at the things that Courtney Gaucher and his department have been doing. Only great things have happened since they've arrived, and it's continuing to happen, I would guess, in the future. So it's a testament to everybody. But it starts with the head Rattler, it starts with Willie Simmons, and he's done an awesome job.
I'm sure you've had scouts ask you questions about some of those players that were at Pro Day and others. How did those conversations transpire? Maybe take us behind the scenes. You know, when are scouts calling? What kind of questions? You know, just give people a little background from the coaching side of it and what it's like interacting with the professional scouts.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. So while I did my internship the first time in LA, so this was back last training camp, I remember sitting with the defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. And Raheem was asking me, you know, where I was from. I told him I was coming from FAMU. And he said, oh, okay, you're the guy with, you're at the, he said, FAMU has those receivers, right? So immediately it triggered to me that he was either scouting us or he was scouting somebody else, and we stood out on film. And come to find out, he was actually scouting UCF, or I'm sorry, he was scouting UCF, but he ended up seeing that the receivers were sticking out and getting open and creating separation against guys that had draft grades. So that's how the conversation starts. The conversation starts with, okay, being noticed. And a lot of guys think, oh, if I put up a bunch of numbers, I do this and that, you'll get noticed. Yeah, you will, but the tape doesn't lie. So if you can stick out when I'm watching somebody else, that means you're probably somebody that they need to follow up on. And so, I mean, I've been asked about, you know, receiver. I've been asked about DBs, O-line, D-line, everything. Like the Rams have done a good job of being thorough in terms of trying to find out as much as they could about, you know, the guys that I had close contact with. And I'm sure that they're being very thorough on the rest of the HBCU landscape as well. So, you know, hopefully that's the same thing for all 32 teams, and that they give these guys a chance, because there are a lot of guys, in my eyes, at the HBCU level that can play in the NFL.
Nice. Jump in there, Kelvin.
Coach, I want to say thank you, first of all, for representing FAMU and HBCUs and so well in your time here, even before you got here, but in your time here, man, you've been going up that coaching ladder. You've always been a straightforward, approachable guy, first class. And then we've had a lot of success. You had a lot of success, and so thank you for your contributions to that, number one. And very deserving. Yeah, and you're very deserving of the opportunity you have. So I've kind of seen some clips and heard you talk about it, post about it, but I just want you to share with our audience how this opportunity with the Rams came about. And I know some of it started with you initiating participating in a program. And then, of course, once you got a part of that program, you had your opportunity. Obviously, you did a good job and was recognized, as you just said, and which led to a further opportunity. So just talk about the process of you getting where you're at right now.
Yeah, so it started with me applying for the Bill Walsh Diversity Fellowship. So what that does is it kind of opens up doors for you to come in on an internship basis and shadow coaches around, show them that, number one, you belong there and that you can do the work. And so that was my mindset when I came out here to LA the first time, because I had to go through an interview process where I interviewed with Thomas Brown, who was the assistant head coach here. We interviewed and talked a lot of quarterback play, and I guess I did well enough because he kind of gave it to me on the spot after we interviewed. And so once I came out to LA for those 3 weeks, I was in the quarterback room for 3 weeks. So I'm sitting next to Sean McVay. I'm sitting next to Kevin O'Connell, who's the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings now. Sitting next to Matthew Stafford, who we shared a story. I told him I played against him when I was at Western Kentucky University, and he didn't know, but because we're the same age, but we actually played against each other. So we kind of shared some chuckles on that. Sitting, and I mean, it's a good group of guys. Just being there for 3 weeks, and in my mind, I felt like I belonged. It wasn't too big. The ball is football, so that wasn't too much. So just being there for those 3 weeks, I remember telling my wife, like, I felt so comfortable. I feel like that's where I should be. Not necessarily in LA, but at that level. And it kind of reaffirmed to myself that I could be an NFL coach one day, and not knowing that it would come 6 months later. It just funny how it happened. I wasn't, chasing a job. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in trying to make yourself get to a place. I just randomly, I remember sitting in a staff meeting, and Thomas Brown called me. And we had a conversation. I did another interview with the new OC here, Liam Cohen, who's an awesome dude. We interviewed, and they gave it to me the next day. And it happened so fast, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity from the organization, from Sean, Thomas, all these guys, man. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to pick up the phone and reach out to me. But I'm glad they did. I'm going to definitely take advantage and represent the right way.
Thanks. Go ahead, Kofi.
Man, that is huge because, just today, Todd Bowles got promoted to be the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he got his start at Morehouse, working with those guys, and he actually competed. He was the defense coordinator for Grambling State when we played them in Indianapolis in a game where they actually beat us. And now he's the head coach of the Bucs, man. So I'm excited about your future, really, with the Rams. Okay, so, you spend a lot of time with that huge quarterback room at Florida A&M University. So talk about what we need to be looking for this spring and where you believe we can go.
I think the word right now for that huge room, which it is huge, a lot of guys in there right now. I think the word is growth. And I think that's a big word, number one, for Rashawn, who I think is doing the necessary things, at least when I was there a few weeks ago. He's doing the right things when it comes to developing and growing as a football player, not just as a quarterback, but as a football player mentally. He's always asking whys. He's trying to find out more than just the routes or the formation. He wants to know the whys. Why are you calling this? What am I looking for? What are you looking at? He's doing a lot of that right now. So that's a great sign for his development, his growth, because he still has 2 years left. So he's doing everything that he can do to maximize his ability to perform at a high level. Cameron Sapp was doing an awesome job before I left. In my mind, he had turned the corner in terms of his understanding of the offense and what we wanted to do, because a lot of people don't realize FAMU doesn't run a traditional offense in terms of the volume and what we ask of our quarterbacks. We ask a lot of them mentally. That's kind of reflective of FAMU in general. As you can see, the enrollment, like, we don't just let anybody in. It's the same way a quarterback. We just can't let anybody play quarterback here. So we put a lot on the quarterback position. And then, like I said, Junior is and another guy that needs growth is Junior. We kind of threw him in there early just to see if he would sink or swim against Fort Valley, and it might have been a little early, and that's okay. That's what a red shirt's for. He got a chance to red shirt, to travel every week, see how we prepared every week against different opponents. So now he has an opportunity to come and show us how much he's grown over that fall season. So that's the word right now for that arena. And there are 4 guys right there that can do it this upcoming season. And then that doesn't even include Ja'Cory Jordan, who's, again, still growing, needed a red shirt year, but is still growing and learning the game of football. But talent-wise, he's got it. So don't think there's not talent in that room. There is. Those guys just have to learn and grow and learn what Coach Simmons wants them to see and do on top of their physical ability. So it's more than just throwing the ball.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I'm thinking how challenging it must be. And as a player, you've been a player, you've been on that side of it, and then as a coach, trying to decide who is going to be QB1. And I know we had a rough start at the beginning, but just everything that goes into that decision-making process. Is there maybe this will help settle or at least enlighten a lot of fans, those of us who even talk about it. What are the tangible maybe things that you when you were there, and Coach Simmons, what are the things that you look for, that you're looking for from that player, whoever's in that room, to win that job? What is it, a week-to-week thing? Is it a progress over a month? Is it something tangible, intangible? What can you share about what helps you decide when you have that many skilled guys? What ends up separating one guy from the next?
And I think the reason me and Coach Simmons stayed together for so long was because we kind of see the position in the game the same way. And so when we always try to decide who would be the quarterback, because I think we've done it 3 or 4 times on our time in Prairie View and at FAM. In my mind, number one is integrity. Like that guy has to make decisions both on and off the field that reflect your program and what you want as a coach. And so, you could throw it a mile, but if you're making crazy decisions off the field, doing, not showing up to things, not going to class, those other players see that. So why am I going to follow somebody who's not even doing the right thing off the field? Why would I follow them on the field? And then you can always translate that to the field, guys that make the smart decision at the line of scrimmage, when throwing the ball, when making calls in tempo. Like, there's different decisions there's always a decision to be made at the quarterback position. So decision making is very important. Then I would say probably leadership will probably come after that, which is a part of being, making the right choice and things like that, the ability to lead and get guys to follow you. The quarterback is always being looked at. So, but the one thing that people don't really realize is that quarterback has people behind him. The question is, are there 10 other guys behind him? Because sometimes he might be doing his own thing, only 6 or 5 of those guys are going with him. That's a problem. The players a lot of times around the quarterback will tell you who the quarterback should be. Because whenever he says something, they're listening, they're keen, and they're responding to him. So a lot of times we don't have to make that decision. We'll sit back and watch and see, is that guy making those choices that reflect the starting quarterback at QB1 at FAMU? Is that guy being followed by the other 10 starters? They respect him. They play hard for him. Do they believe that he can help them win? Those are the people that make the decision. We just have to see it as coaches and then make the choice accordingly. So it's not a quick thing. It doesn't happen week to week. It's a process. It's going to take months, unless guys are just not making those right decisions. But Rashawn has always been reflective of good integrity. Jeremy, absolutely. Sav, all those guys are smart, good kids, come from great homes. So integrity, a lot of those guys have it. Now it just comes to, can they make the right choices on the field and be that leader that the team needs, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good answer. Good, thank you. Kelvin, go ahead.
Coach, I seen you discuss this on another podcast, and I kind of want you to share with our audience.
You've been following me, man. What's going on, man? You.
Hey, man. Hey, I follow greatness, man. Shoot, you moving up like
I like that. I like that.
I'm trying to get some of that. Right? But talk about the NFL game. Talk about your experience when you went the first time, and some of the things that maybe surprise you, things that you picked up and learned, the differences, the nuances of the NFL game versus the collegiate game?
Oof. Very different games. Very different. Even from the simple standpoint of coverages that you see a majority of the time in the NFL versus the college game. The college game, there's a lot more personnel changes. In the NFL, it's really not. There's really only one or two personnel that you see just because everybody's so athletic at this level, which is another thing. Everybody's a great athlete. So, there's not too many different ways that you can create a matchup where you can say, I need to attack that guy. And then even from a mental standpoint, playbook standpoint, there's so much volume in these playbooks, man. I literally feel like I'm in school right now because I have to study it. I have to look at it. I have to try to test myself, quiz myself because of the room that I'm in and my responsibilities that have already been handed out to me. Like I have to be a reflection of Sean and Liam and know, when they're calling plays, why they're calling them and what the kills, if you know what a kill is, where you call two plays in the huddle, I have to know what those are before they come out. There's so much volume to the NFL, man, when it comes to schemes and things like that. So they're definitely two different games. You'll see more 3-down fronts and stuff in the NFL. You don't see a lot of that in the college game. I think that's just more of they can select guys at a more premium because there's always more small guys than big guys. So you'll see more 3-down fronts in the NFL than you will in the college game. But and I told my wife that the other day, it's a totally different game. It's still football from a simple standpoint, but it's so different, man, in so many different ways. I'm just excited to be here to continue to learn, which is always good. Just to be able to learn and grow as a man, as a coach, and to be tested every day. To go to work and be on your toes is a good feeling, and knowing that you got to be at your tip top or somebody else to take your spot. So, it's different, man, but I'm enjoying it.
Kofi, close us out with our conversation with Coach KJ.
Come on, Kofi, give me a good one, man.
All right, so Jackson State, we had Southern University and South Carolina State that I think were probably pretty good defenses that we faced last year. What's the difference between what they're able to do, what they're doing against us, and does it come down to play calling or just simple execution?
That is a good one. Let me say this. I think all three of those teams attacked us in different ways. And we had different responses and different amounts of production against each one. So Jackson State, we knew who their head coach was, and we didn't really have a lot on film to try to decide and put together a great game plan because there just wasn't a lot of film on them, and they were completely different from a personnel standpoint in the fall than they were that spring. And it was well versed of how many people that they had lost and brought in. So we didn't know exactly what we were going to get. So that game was really go into it, with a base game plan and then try to be great in terms of making adjustments on the fly. And it's really hard to do that with college players because if you go in, some guys aren't really great at, if I draw something up in the dirt, can you go out and execute it right now? Some guys can do that, some guys can't. So that one was a little different. And then you just don't see a lot of man coverage anymore in college football. And so once they showed us that, hey, we're going to play a bunch of man coverage, we went to some things that, we thought were going to be good versus man coverage. And a lot of it was there, just kind of missed some opportunities. So I don't expect us to miss those same opportunities this fall. I expect to see a different game, especially from us offensively in the OBC. South Carolina State, they tried to mimic that when we played them, but we were ready for it because they were actually a man-to-man team. So we had a lot of success against them. We ran the ball so well that game, if you remember. And that's the reason why, because they were playing man coverage. So once you get to the second level of man coverage, there's nobody else because everybody, the DBs are chasing receivers. So we had a great game on the ground that week and had great production running behind Bishop and Terrell that week. Then the other one was Southern. So Southern were kind of hit with injuries a little bit. If you remember, Jordan Lewis hadn't been playing that much at that time. So, and they were traditionally a 4-down team. So we had a lot of success. We knew what they were going to do. After 6 or 7 games, you know who that other team is. So we just had a great game plan. Coach Simmons put together a great game plan, and Rashawn and he was on fire that game. So we went out and lit them up a little bit, but I think that one was more of everybody being in sync. We had finally started to hit our rhythm as a team, both offensively and defensively. We were a little scared. If you remember that first couple of drives by Southern, we were a little nervous because they kind of picked us apart a little bit, but the defense settled in, and Coach Simmons continued to do a great job, and we kind of handled business. So 3 different teams, athletically and talent-wise, and a little bit of different scheme-wise, but I think, we'll be ready for them again as we play them this upcoming year.
Hubbard, so, I know you watched that the Celebration Bowl and what South Carolina State was able to do against Jackson State. What made their attack so successful?
I think it was pretty simple. I think it was control the clock, and I think it was, put pressure on the quarterback. I didn't think they did anything else but beat them up front, get to Shador, and say, hey, can you really beat us down the field? I mean, I didn't think it was that hard. I thought we did the same thing. I thought we got after Shador a little bit. I think we made it hard for them. We just didn't execute on the offensive side. So I really, truly believe they looked at our game and said, hey, we can do the same thing, and they went out and did it. So kudos to them. Congratulations to them. But FAMU definitely could have been in the same Celebration Bowl that they were in. And I truly believe that.
Hubbard, Coach, thanks so much.
Coach, I feel like I can ask you this and there be no pressure since you don't have to go back in the office with Coach Simmons.
Here we go.
What's your prediction for the upcoming season? Come on, give us a prediction for
2022
for FAMU.
Let's go 11-2. Let's go. Is that? Let me see. Play 11. 12 would be. Yep. So 11-2. We good with that one? That means that's a Celebration Bowl.
We losing to though.
Yeah. I got you. I got the math.
The first one, I think the first one will be tough because it's out the gate, and it's really hard, man. It's really hard to come out the gate and be at your tip-top shape. I think we opened up with North Carolina, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that one will be tough, and then you just trying to leave, room for error. Nobody's perfect. We want to be perfect, but nobody's perfect, so you don't know when it'll be. But I know we're not going to lose that second one, so I'm just not that one. But just 11-2, Celebration Bowl. I think this is it. Coach Simmons has been close pretty much every year he's been there. He's had an opportunity to be in the Celebration Bowl. I think he finally gets over the hump, and I think Rattler Nation is celebrating and having a great time in Atlanta come December.
Well said. Well, hey, Coach, congrats on behalf of Rattler Nation. I'm going to say, thank you for everything you gave to the university and to the program. Your time there, you are definitely part of the family, and we're going to enjoy watching you try to win another championship with the LA Rams. I look forward to a Rams and Colts Super Bowl. That's sort of my prediction. Rams and Colts. So, it'll be interesting. Matt Ryan versus Matt Stafford. I'm calling it now. So when it happens, you can say, yo, that dude Brian, he did kind of call it. So I'm just letting you know. 2 great quarterbacks going at it. So we'll have you back on the show. Tell us about give us a inside look at the matchup when it happens. But seriously though, best of luck and everything. Much success to you in LA, and thanks for taking some time out to come talk to us tonight.
No, thank you. And my wife said the other day, she's really going to miss just Tallahassee in general because of the love that you guys give FAMU and the attention and the consistent support that FAMU Nation gives you guys. So it's unreal. It was an unbelievable experience. And that's coming from an HBCU graduate and my wife. We both graduated from Prairie A&M, but we had an awesome time in Tallahassee. So we appreciate everything that you guys do for the university and did for us.
All right. At Coach Black _QB. Make sure you follow. Make sure you show him some love. Tell him thank you just for everything, Rattler Nation. We appreciate you, Coach. We're going to be following you for years to come, rooting for you. And you and your family enjoy Los Angeles, LA, and good luck out there with the Rams.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Coach KJ Black. And we're gonna wrap up the show here, fellas. Hey, I feel like I have to mention, just in case people didn't know the names that were at that pro day, because that was humongous. I mean, think about these names, and I'm not going to say, again, 30 NFL teams. You know, and in all seriousness, hey, it was great what they did in Mississippi at Jackson State, where they had 20-something teams. And props to Coach
22.
Prime. Okay, I said 20-something. Props to Coach for calling teams out that didn't show. But 30 NFL teams showed up. A couple of CFL showed up. They showed up for Marquise Bell, Antoine Collier, Keenan Forbes, Troy Hilton, J. Jackson Williams, Christian Mastramico, Derek Mayweather, Jalen Spady, Deontay Williams, Savion Williams. That's who they showed up to see. That is an all-star. I mean, my God, guys, I don't know, just legitimately, I don't know, half that room plus that whole group has pro potential. And I hope and pray they all get an opportunity. I don't care if it comes on draft day or in the free agent market. All of those guys are draftable, in my opinion. Kofi, your final words as we get ready to close out today's show.
Man, Rattler Nation, I am telling you all, you do not want to miss the orange and green game this year. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Make your arrangements to be in Tallahassee. It is going to be awesome. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to see the 2022 version of the FAMU Rattler football team, but then also, more importantly, just simply to support the program and vibe and love on one another. I'm looking forward to it.
Kelvin, final thoughts.
Rattler Nation, make sure you make plans to come back to Tallahassee for the National Alumni Association convention, which is in June. There will be a board of trustees meeting during that same week, and it's important that we show up in numbers and we make sure that our voice are heard, because these are our decision makers who can be an impediment or an advocate for FAMU athletics, as well as, of course, the academics and just the future of the university in general. And so it's a pivotal time. There's a lot of big decisions that have to be made. Our brand is growing, and so we need all hands on deck with that. And then, of course, the Orange Blossom Classic, get your tickets and get your hotels now. It's going to be big. I got a feeling it's going to be real big.
Well said. Special thanks again to Kendra Bulluck-Major of the Orange Blossom Classic, to Ty Floyd, and to Coach KJ Black. What an awesome show. What a great privilege it is to be able to talk to them, to be able to do it with you guys, and for you guys on YouTube and Facebook or watching it, please share it with a friend. And if you're picking it up, you didn't catch it live, but you're catching us on the replay on YouTube or Facebook, or if you're listening to us on the BCSN Pod Zone, give us a rating wherever you can. Give us a rating, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, retweet, share it to as many people on your timeline as you can. What an awesome show. And hit up our guests. Let them know you appreciate them coming on our show. That's how we keep people wanting to come back and wanting to come forward. Follow them. Let them know you appreciate. Hey, I heard you on the O&G Strike Zone, man. You did a great job. Let them know. We appreciate it, but let them know, because then they'll come back to talk with us, and then we can bring all these great guests to you. So that's going to do it for the show. Appreciate my producer, Roy, hanging in there for a little bit of overtime, and you guys as well. Kelvin, Kofi, love you guys. Appreciate you. We're getting closer to orange and green game. We'll break that down on next Wednesday's show. More guests next week as well. Rattler Nation, be safe, be strong, and make sure you strike. Strike. and strike again at anybody who comes up on you with some of that evil. Let them know. Strike them down. All right. You guys be good out there. Peace out.